something I want to go back to here. You said 3 things. Who does this? That's a 3 to you? Mike does this with a 3 instead of, I guess most people do this.
Yeah,
this is Mike's version. 3.
3.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, I'm Josh. I'm with Honda Aircraft Company, and we're here on the campus of Honda Aircraft Company. This is where everything happens. This is where everything is researched and developed and tested and produced right over here. And that's one of those big buildings over there. Brand new airplanes come out of there, go right to the customers. We are here to go flying today. What a great day to go flying. Beautiful morning. And we're going to go up to Oshkosh, Wisconsin, okay, for a little event called EAA AirVenture. You might have heard of it. We're glad to be back, okay? Had to take last year off. This year we're back. It's gonna be a good time. Great day to go flying. Listen, something special is going flying today. I wanna show it to you. This thing is neat. This thing is brand new. Let me show you. That's right. Brand new HondaJet Elite S. The S is out now. This is the brand new one. Some great upgrades in this thing. Increased payload range, some new avionics upgrades. We're gonna go over all that with you. But look at this thing. Special paint scheme, obviously. This thing shows off exactly what the HondaJet paint team is capable of. Completely custom paint job. Anything you can think of, they can lay down on one of these things. And it's just a gorgeous machine. Check out this logo right here. Now you get that cool badge on your airplane. Look at that red S right there. Yeah, that means something. Yeah, you know you want that. It's like a sports car in the sky, right?
Greensboro clearance. Good morning. Honda 5-1 IFR to Oshkosh. On request, please.
I take this opportunity to introduce you.
Yep.
Our PIC, Mike.
Well, certainly a pleasure to take this beautiful aircraft, 420 November Whiskey, up to Oshkosh for the first time. This is our HondaJet Elite S demonstrator with this extremely unique paint scheme, as you've seen. So
it sure is.
All right, taxiing down to 23 left departure.
Honda 5-1 Greensboro Tower, hello. Fly runway heading, runway 23 left, cleared for takeoff. Wind is 2608.
Runway heading, cleared, takeoff. 23, copy, winds 5-1. All right, we are clear to take off. Runway's clear, right and left. Before takeoff check is complete. We got flaps are set, trim is in the green. Nav is set, toll is checked. Takeoff briefing is complete. Radar not required, ocean protection not required. Beautiful day, flying to Oshkosh.
Yeah, we are.
Let's go. Rotate. How's the rate? Gear up. Runway heading 5,000. Runway, speed above 140, flaps coming up.
Honda 5-1, turn right heading 270, contact departure, have this flight.
Right turn, 270, switch departure, Honda 5-1, see you. Yeah, so now COM 1's primary, so I guess that's something I can talk about, obviously. You're looking at 2 CDUs here, and these are the brains of the G3000, right?
Right.
So, really self-explanatory, intuitive stuff here. You know, a lot of times a picture will depict what it is that you're going to put onto either the PFD or the MFD, which is in the center. So you got big highlights of the G3000 in order to control it, right, is you use this toggle switch, and if it's highlighted purple, it's the co-pilot has control of that specific screen. So that 40% solution right here on your PFD is controlled by this CDU. So I can put anything from, you know, maps, traffic, weather, TOS, charts, checklists, you name it. Right? If you toggle over and it's highlighted purple, that means you're controlling that screen. That's sort of the big things with the G3000. It's pretty intuitive in that way. The same applies for the pilot side. My color, though, is like this greenish kind of cyan color.
Yeah, is that what that is?
Number
Yep.
60
Turquoise? Cyan?
Yep. Yeah, I didn't pick the color there.
Yeah. It's a good color.
It's a good color. But I can do the same thing, essentially scroll back and forth, and I'm controlling that screen.
Maintain 12000, contact Atlanta Center 128.8.
128.8, climbing 12000, 51. Sometimes when you're doing step up climbs with ATC, you'll use your vertical speed wheel to just climb up. But now that we're 11,000, we're going to flight level 230. I'll usually engage FLC.
You can contact Jacksonville Center 124.7. Have a good day.
210 is a nice airspeed to climb at with this aircraft. So I'll set that once that catches 210.
Yep, there it is.
Speed my 6020, turn 20, test 51, clear direct Oshkosh.
Clear direct Oshkosh, right on. 51. See ya.
All right, so what's our flight plan look like, and what kind of information is the G3000 feeding back to us here about that flight plan?
As you heard through ATC, they just cleared us direct Oshkosh right from Greensboro. Right. So the reality is some of the stuff that you can see as we continue to climb up. We filed for 380 this time, as we indicated earlier too. And it's actually good that we left we left at the time we did, because there was quite a bit of weather that was coming in. But some pretty cool features is you can engage the map setting here, and then highlight your inset window. And then you could include your flight plan text or your flight plan progress. Obviously, not as great of a scenario with this one, because they just cleared us direct Oshkosh, and that's 2 hours away. So there's not necessarily waypoints that you can calculate your fuel remaining to each one, your distance remaining to each leg. We're going direct to the destination, so we'll have all that information in place. Calculated fuel remaining, etc.
10 minutes in the air. 22,000, coming up on 23.
Yep.
That's where they have us
to the fuel at destination now.
Fuel at destination,
670. Right. This is essentially your heading. So we're on a 331 heading. Right. Leg distance is 592 miles. We gave a really good flight fuel consideration here with the weights on board, and the G3000 is calculating all of that for you. But ideally with the HondaJet Elite, you want to land with about 600 pounds of reserve fuel. Gives you those MBAA reserves in the event that you have to divert somewhere else. So
somebody sees this is what we're showing right there.
Yep.
And again, what does that stand for? Fuel
over destination?
Fuel over destination. So over the airfield, yep. That's what you're looking at, is 660 pounds reserve.
Yep, exactly. Got in the climb, our pressurization, I've been checking that this whole time. Right now we're at 250, and cabin altitude is 4,300 feet. This is all automatic, by the way, which is such a cool function of the HondaJet. You got three major things that are automatic that are somewhat different. You got cabin pressurization system, which is more commonly an automatic thing in most business jets. But icing system, for instance, that's automatic for us.
Yep.
So the only real pilot input is your engine anti-ice.
Sure.
But outside of that, your ice protection, your bleed air on your wings, electromechanical explosive de-icing system
on the tail,
horizontal. Yep. All of that, if it's set in the norm mode, it just goes off automatically. I've been through ice many times during the winter, and it's a nice feeling to know that the computer and the aircraft will take care of you. Then also the lighting system, so not touching lights throughout the entire profile is something unique.
Yeah, taking one more task away from the pilot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or offloading it to simplify everything and to make sure that you don't get task saturated.
Yeah, but more importantly, designed for that single pilot, the single pilot operation. I like using the acronym KISS.
What does that stand for?
Keep it simple, stupid.
Okay.
And the reality is not to apply that to the airplane, but to apply that for the pilot. The pilot needs to be, his or her concentration needs to be at flying the airplane, And when you have a system that's as complex and as sophisticated as the HondaJet, you can just fly the airplane.
So this keeps stepping us up on this flight today, but say we filed for 430 How quickly can this aircraft achieve that?
24 minutes.
24 minutes.
24 minutes is the average time to climb in a Honda Jet to 430, which is a great performance characteristic.
What are the big benefits of an aircraft that's capable of 430?
Indy Center, good morning. Card 450.
Well, there's several, I'd say 2 really critical ones. One is efficiency. So your burn rate at 430 averages around 300 pounds per engine per hour, right? So that's really efficient for this size of airplane. But 2 is the higher you get, the better the chances that you can clear some weather. So I'll give you a perfect example. I was flying Fort Lauderdale, Florida to Austin, Texas. It was give or take about 100 knots on the nose. There was convective activity that tops were at 41,000 feet. So we took
your
off.
Weather was topping out at 41,000.
Weather was topping out at 41,000 feet. There was wind on the nose, and it was a pretty long. I'd say on the longer side of a mission set for the Honda Jet. There's 4 total people on board, 2 pilots, 2 packs. About a 3-hour mission or so, and we were at 43,000 feet, 2,000 feet above, flying in smooth air and looking down at a light show of lightning and turbulence, all the bad stuff you want to try to avoid, right? And, just seeing that firsthand, obviously we can talk about it, but when you see an actual mission come to play and only come to play and be successful because of capability, that's when it really you can really talk to it. There were aircraft that were having to divert. They had to divert, or cancel their mission.
Right.
Because they couldn't quite get to that 43, or they were capped off at 41, for instance.
So speaking of that, what you just said, other traffic are not able to get to 43, but I mean, just on a standard day, like airline traffic, where are they at?
Airlines are typically in the 30s, anywhere from the low 30s to typically kind of mid to your high 30s. And your business traffic usually gets into the 40s. A lot of light jets are capped at 41. We're fortunate enough to be at 43.
Sure, so if you can take off and get right to 43, gets you right out of that traffic as well. So yeah, brand new Honda Jet Elite S. Now the S means that some of the upgrades that were made here, Datacom and ACARS are incorporated into these avionics. What does that mean for a pilot? For Datacom, how does that apply to the aircraft and to you as a pilot?
We're really just provisioning for the future. And what is the future? The future is reducing, pilots speaking to ATC, error that can be caused in really busy areas, where you misinterpret a ATC clearance, for instance. And so it's a text messaging system at select airports. You can essentially receive your clearance, your departure, all of the pertinent information for taking off via text.
Instead of missing a call from ATC or interpreting somebody else's call as your own, and making changes to your flight based on that mistake, that information is coming directly to you over text. Yep. You're the only one receiving it, the only one sending it to ATC.
Correct. As identified by your aircraft identifying number, whether it's your end registration or your call sign.
Right, and Datacom is direct link to the FAA. It doesn't go through a third party.
Direct link, exactly. Third party is more applicable to that ACARS capability. So ACARS, sort of to move on to that, is really functional for, like I told you earlier, I do fleet sales. And so as the Honda Jet becomes more of this really viable operator's aircraft, on 135 operations where there's, more robust operational centers and dispatch, the ability to use, for instance, Air Inc. or some third party to communicate information such as when the aircraft takes off, when it lands, communicate back and forth the dispatch for a flight plan, first changes in schedule, etc. The ACARS allows that capability. So again, ACARS has been around for a little bit. FAA Datacom is something that's more of a newer push from the FAA and for the industry to eliminate pilot error by reducing our actual comm back and forth to ATC and migrating more towards that text-based
Right.
interaction with ATC. So less talking. And again, it goes back to what I initially started when we took off, which is simplicity. You know, you want to keep things really simple and easy to do, so that single pilot can operate it. It just eliminates that workload there. That COM3 too, which is the data link component to FAA Datacom.
COM3 was added into the Elite S.
Correct.
And that's where the data link exists.
Exactly.
But you can turn it off.
Exactly.
You can turn it back into a VHF.
Yep.
And have three.
Yep. Or three, right?
Three, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, but overall, those three components with the S, obviously the big feature of the S as well is the 200-pound gross weight increase, which is a software change. If that tells you what's really going on there, is that, you know, this aircraft is overbuilt. It's a, you know, very well-built airplane, and incorporating that software change to allow for that now 10,900-pound max gross weight on takeoff. Really enhances that capability, right? So you can put in an extra body or put in extra fuel depending on what your mission set is.
You're specifically talking about the Elite S over the Elite.
Over the Elite, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, to be clear. So having that extra 200 pounds of capability is just something that makes this airplane that much more capable, you know, as every aircraft company is striving for, you know, that ultimate solution, where you can just load up people and load up fuel and load up bags and go. You know, we're on an IFR flight plan right now, so we could be told to do something slightly different, but I'm expecting the turbine warbird arrival. And, you know, all I'm doing is I'm just zooming in on the MFD with the Garmin display here and comparing that to the turbine warbird arrival, which is included in this EAA packet that they give all pilots. You can print out, have to have it in the airplane when you fly the EAA. So just kind of comparing the two. Obviously did some route study on the ground, but just refreshing my memory on you know, what this looks like and what procedures need to be done when you're flying VFR inbound.
So what you making there, Mike?
There wasn't anything that actually talked about what sign I need to put in for arriving static display aircraft, and I could be wrong, but I'm just going to put display aircraft there so they know that we're actually the company coming in to shut the aircraft down right in front of where all the company displays are, and then we'll get towed in. Yeah, so now we're down to 14,000 feet. We're starting to get closer to flying over Lake Michigan. Already received our Oshkosh ATIS. The Fisk arrival Endeavour transition VFR is in effect. Like I said, I anticipate the turbine warbird arrival for us specifically because of our type of aircraft. But you know, like I said, with jets, sometimes you just get the instrument approach inbound, which is going to be the RNAV approach, which is active, runway 27.
Honda 51, descend and maintain 1010,000.
1010,000, Honda 51. They got a varsity team on the ATC right now up here.
Yeah, they do. You've got to have years of experience doing this.
Proceed direct Fondo X.
Let's see, information kilos current 220 at 8. 220 at 8. 27 outside, altimeter setting at 2980 at Oshkosh.
Honda 51, when you're ready for it, proceed direct Yetude, Yankee Alpha Tango Uniform Delta to pick up the RNAV 36.
Hey, when ready, direct Yetude for the RNAV 36 in Oshkosh, Honda 51, stand by 1 sec. And Honda 51 in the descent 10,000, direct Yetude.
Honda 51, thank you.
Look at this traffic. Go back. Yeah, buddy. Basically, we're at our approach sequence. We're about to hit the shoreline here in Lake Michigan. We're fortunate enough, it looks like, I mean, unless something changes, we're going to get the RNAV inbound to runway 36, so it makes it relatively easy for an Oshkosh arrival there, so certainly very much appreciated in that sense. But again, the majority of the aircraft traffic are your single engine pistons, so there's a need to fly in on that Fisk VFR arrival, as I explained earlier. Given that we're a jet, we'll take what we get, and we're fortunate enough we'll be flying a little bit faster in an RNAV 36 full stop. So
yeah. You mean we won't have anybody on the radio yelling at us to bank at a certain VFR checkpoint?
Possibly. We'll still have all our information up plugged in just in case they change it up on us. But yeah. I don't expect that. So the big things with flying in Oshkosh at the end of the day is you can follow the procedures. You have to follow the procedures that they have in play, but aviating, navigating, communicating in that order, right? I learned that from the Air Force. Just continue to fly the airplane. Worry about the aircraft first, and a lot of times you'll stay out of trouble. And it seems so simple to talk about, but sometimes when you're in a really busy situation, you have to kind of go back to your basics.
Honda 5-1, that traffic's about to pass off your left side shortly, 6,700 indicated.
Yeah, it's a flight of 4 in sight, 5-1.
Flight of 4, wow, I'm only showing one target, thank you.
Yeah, it's one guy squawking lead probably.
Yeah, normally I can see tags behind him, so that's why I was surprised.
Keep your eyes out. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of VFR traffic.
Honda 5-1, now I see traffic at 12 o'clock, 5 miles eastbound. Altitude indicates 1,300.
Wilco, we got traffic on TCAS, searching, 5-1. Honda Jet 5-1 has traffic in sight, no factor.
Thank you, sir.
You can hear the arrival here. You can get an idea of how busy it is.
Okay, and those coming up, you're high. They got some low wings high. I need you to start it down, slow it up. Are you a flight? VTEL, right turn now for 36. There you go, VTEL, right turn, slow it down, drop your gears, 1,800 feet. RB, go straight ahead for 27. VTEL, you're going to 36. RB, thank you for the rock. Go to 27, follow the track. Right downwind for 27, keep it over the gravel pit, monitor 118.5. VTEL, tower frequency, monitor 126.6 for runway 36. Nice job, guys. I got another VTEL with the gear down, half mile.
There, because it's
yeah,
pretty busy.
Tower, good afternoon. Honda Jet 5-1, passing Yatude at 3,000 RNAV 36, full stop.
Honda 5-1, report at 3 mile initial.
Report that 3 initial 5-1.
I got a Mooney out here that was on base. You're doing the right thing. There's one departing. You on the base. Continue on the base.
That's a runway.
Go in clearance for a moment.
Honda 5-1 is 3 miles, full stop 36.
Honda Jet 5-1, roger. Clear to land runway 36 left.
Clear to land 36 left, Honda 5-1. Got him in sight. We'll follow up Cessna.
Cessna base filed to Honda Jet. Clear to land, purple dot.
See that traffic right there?
There it is.
Cessna pass above. We're behind the Honda Jet. You're clear to land 36 right. Skinny runway, red square.
36 right. 3 right, though.
Minimums.
On the red square.
On the red dot.
All right.
Nice job by that.
Traffic is clear.
He's clear, Honda Jet.
Copy.
Copy that.
Honda Jet, if you can slow it down
5,000.
they want you off the top of 2.
Okay, I'll try that.
Welcome to Oshkosh, Mike.
Yeah.
What'd you think of that?
I mean, honestly, that was pretty benign for. It was just, you probably saw that aircraft clearing.
Seriously?
They literally, we were wheels down maybe like 10 seconds after that Cessna or whatever exited off the grass there. So just, there's a ton of airplanes coming in, but obviously we had a little bit of a unique advantage there with flying a RNAV inbound. So yeah, it was a good time.
Out there on base, the high wing and the low wing.
But
high wing in the front.
Glad to be here.
On runway 36.
Right on.
And of course we're here. They waste no time whatsoever taking the airplane off the tarmac. We just got off the runway. They hook it up as fast as possible and get it out because they need to get the airplane into the Honda Jet tent. So that's where it's on its way right now, right down this path. And then we'll pull into the display tent so everybody can see the airplane. bit of a tight squeeze to get this down the path. So they're having to tip some benches, move some stuff out of the way every once in a while to make room for the wingtips. But we're almost there. We're the tent's right here, and so we'll make this turn right in the display tent. All right, it's here, it's in the tent. We got it in, took some maneuvering, but it's in here. We're gonna wrap some stuff up in the tent to get ready for the show on Monday. New HondaJet Elite S with all the new upgrades and everything. EAA AirVenture, we're glad to be here. The airplane is on display here at the HondaJet tent at EAA AirVenture. Had a great time coming up. The airplane got us here quickly and efficiently like it's supposed to do. Mike did a fantastic job piloting us up here. You had fun with that?
Yeah, it was a blast coming in. Fortunately, we were able to get an RNAV procedure in here, so we didn't have to deal with a lot of the VFR traffic there, as we're a faster moving airplane. But yeah, it was always fun to fly into Oshkosh.
And we came up on a new fuel called SAF.
Yep.
Mike, can you tell us what that is?
Yeah, Sustainable Aviation Fuel. Essentially, it's very similar chemistry to Jet A, and it's obviously compatible to the HondaJet and obviously other aircraft out there. But the intent at the end of the day is to reduce our carbon footprint, which is something that we all want to be a part of.
Really important, right?
You know, the aircraft already being a really efficient airplane, you know, coupled with the fact that we can put SAF as a fuel source, certainly allows for this to be a really efficient machine.
Yeah. Where did we pick that up from?
Corey Aviation. So Corey Aviation with a K. They're located in Greensboro, North Carolina, where our world headquarters is, and various other locations throughout North Carolina. So really appreciate the fuel there.
Yeah, the jets in the tent, our team did a fantastic job getting it in here and putting this whole event together here at EAA Oshkosh AirVenture.
Yep, right on. See ya.